Hey everyone, so today we're taking a look at and listening to this, the new DJI Mic 3 system. And we will not only be looking at all its new features, but also seeing how it stacks up to its closest competitor, the Rode Wireless Pro, so that you can work out which system is right for you. Now, today we're going to be looking at things like the carrying case, sound quality, accessories, transmission distance, features, battery life, and more. And throughout this video, I'm going to be switching between the audio from either of these microphones so that you can hear how they both sound in this outdoor environment. Now, if at any time you want to work out which microphone you're listening to, just take a look at the top left or top right of the screen. And if you would like to find out more about any of these microphones or pick them up, I put links in the description down below where you can do just that. And let's start by taking a look at everything that comes inside the boxes when you pick up one of these microphones. Now, as standard, both kits come with the receiver, that's the bit you plug into your camera, and two microphone transmitters. And these come with clips and magnets, allowing you to attach them to yourself to record the audio. Although the new DJI Mic 3 system has these new rotating clips, allowing you to change the direction of the transmitter to more directly face where the audio is coming from. Very handy. There's also these windshields included that you can attach to reduce wind noise, with the Mic 3 having 4, 2 black and 2 grey, and the Rode microphone system having 4 black ones, so you get plenty of spares. You also get a charging and accessory case, audio cable, USB-C charging cable, and the Mic 3 comes with this USB-C adapter, allowing you to attach the receiver directly to your smartphone. Now, in contrast, the Rode Wireless Pro system still allows you to attach the receiver to your smartphone, but you have to do this with either a USB-C or Lightning cable. Now, this is not as neat as the receiver kind of just dangles next to your phone, so if you do want to use this system, you will probably need some sort of additional accessory to hold it neatly together. On top of this, the Rode system does actually come with a few additional items. You get these two lavalier microphones with their own little windshields as well. Alright, let's now talk design, because as you can see, when you use these microphones, you can see the transmitters, so that is important. And while the Rode Wireless Pro sounds fantastic, we'll get onto that in a second, I've never really liked how the transmitter looks. It's very large, so it's extremely noticeable when you attach it to your t-shirt, and also it's kind of heavy, so again, it tends to tug your t-shirt down. The Mic 3, on the other hand, has now adapted the same design as the cheaper Mic Mini, which means the transmitter itself is much smaller, therefore much more discreet, but it's also much lighter, so you don't get any of that t-shirt tugging like you do with the Rode transmitter itself. I'm also really glad DJI has moved away from the shiny reflective design the Mic 2 had and changed to this matte finish, which again just makes the transmitter much less eye-catching, again something that doesn't really help the Rode system blend in. Although I have to say, both systems have excellent build quality and don't feel cheap or flimsy in any way. Moving over to the receivers though, and first, let's look at what is new and updated on the DJI Mic 3. And honestly, in terms of design, not much has changed, being the same size and shape as the Mic 2 receiver. Although now we have this locking audio cable to prevent it accidentally disconnecting, and a physical lock button on the side. And here, I think the DJI Mic system is again quite a bit ahead of the Rode Wireless Pro, with its scroll wheel and touchscreen making it super easy to browse through the menu and change or adjust settings. I also like that you can mount it forward or rear facing on your camera, so that if you are in front of the screen, you can still easily monitor things. Whereas because the screen is on the front of the Rode receiver that faces upward, and you can only mount it one way, you find yourself having to continually walk back over to your camera to check on it. The Mic 3 system is also really intuitive to use, primarily due to that touchscreen, but also all the menus and settings are clearly labeled and easy to navigate. Whereas with the Rode system, it's easy to get confused by what button does what, how to get to certain menus, and again, it's also quite limited, allowing you to only adjust the gain adjustment and volume on the receiver itself. So if the Rode receiver has quite limited menus, how exactly do you change the settings? Well, for this, you have to plug it directly into your computer. Although it has to be said, a really nice feature is that you can keep the transmitters and receiver inside the charging case and just plug the entire charging case into your laptop or computer. Now, once you've done this and using the Rode Central app, you can manage the settings and transfer the internal audio recordings, and we'll talk about those in a second. And the app is really well designed and put together. And in here you can do firmware updates, change settings like 32-bit float, the gain, and more. But again, as soon as you unplug it, the settings are again limited on that receiver. On the other hand, the DJI Mic 3 settings can also be controlled using the DJI Memo smartphone app, but this is not strictly necessary, as again, everything can be adjusted on the Mic 3 receiver itself. Now, looking at the charging and accessory cases, the Rode Wireless Pro system actually has two cases that you need to bring with you. One that holds the transmitters and receivers, and another for the accessories. And while these cases are well made, I have no complaints there, the DJI Mic 3 system has again made improvements. They have done away with the charging and separate accessory case of the Mic 2, and now we just have one charging case that can hold everything, including the windshields and audio cable, and although they do supply this additional carrying pouch, I find it's not really needed. I would just rather keep things minimal. So far it's been really positive for the Mic 3 system, but we now have to talk about one of its biggest drawbacks, and it's quite a confusing drawback actually. So with the Rode Wireless Pro transmitters, there is a connection for the supplied lavalier mics, and these come with locking screws so you can attach them securely and don't risk them disconnecting. And a lavalier mic allows you to get a much more discreet setup while still getting high quality audio. Confusingly though, the new Mic 3 system has no lav input on the transmitter. This was something that was available on the Mic 2, so I'm not really sure why they've got rid of it, but that means if you do want to use a lavalier mic, then you can't really consider the Mic 3 system. With that being said, the Mic 3 does have one big advantage the Rode system doesn't have, and that's just how well it integrates with their ecosystem of products. So if you have something like the Action 5 Pro, Pocket 3, or even the new Osmo 360, you can actually pair the transmitter wirelessly without needing to attach an additional transmitter. Another area the new Mic 3 system takes the lead is its ability to connect multiple transmitters and receivers together for interview situations or redundancy. So each receiver can connect to up to 4 transmitters, so you can record audio from 4 people simultaneously, and each transmitter can actually connect up to 8 receivers, so one mic transmitting to 8 cameras potentially. Now, are you ever going to do that? Probably not, that's at the extreme end. But as you can see, it does give you tons of flexibility in terms of how many devices you can be capturing audio from and recording to. On the other hand, with the Rode Wireless Pro system, you can only connect up to a maximum of 2 transmitters to 1 receiver. Now, both systems also feature the ability for them to automatically control the gain levels. So as you talk louder or talk quieter, they will automatically adjust that up or down so you don't get any clipped or too quiet audio. And on the Rode, this is called Gain Assist technology, and on the DJI Mic 3, this new feature is called Adaptive Gain Control. But the DJI Mic 3 also now comes with a welcome new feature called Tone presets, and honestly this is my favorite new feature, because the older DJI Mic 2 system, in my opinion, while it sounded okay, it did lack a little warmth. Well, now we get options. So within the transmitter, alongside the regular tone preset, there is a new bright option which will enhance higher frequencies for a clearer sound, and my favorite, a rich preset which boosts the lower frequencies and in my opinion gives a nice warm and much better sound. So let's listen to those now. Alright, so for comparison, let's start with the Rode Wireless Pro system and then compare that to the new 3 tone presets of the new Mic 3 system. So what you're hearing now is audio from the Rode Wireless Pro. As you can see, it's mounted about chest height, and I think it sounds fantastic. It has a nice, full, warm sound. It doesn't have that tinny, higher frequency sound that the older DJI Mic 2 had. Alright, so now we've switched over to the Mic 3 system, and again it's mounted about chest height. Now this is using the regular tone preset, and this should provide you with the most neutral or baseline sound out of this microphone. Okay, so again we're using the DJI Mic 3 system, mounted at chest height, but now we're using the bright tone preset, and you should be able to hear that those higher frequencies have been boosted a little bit, giving a clear sounding audio. And lastly, again using the DJI Mic 3 mounted at chest height, we have switched over to the rich tone preset. Now this is my favorite, as it boosts those lower frequencies, adding more warmth and a little bit more bass. And in my opinion, for my voice, I think this is the best sounding preset. But let me know in the comments down below which tone preset you think sounds the best. Now, in terms of battery life, this also gets boosted with the new DJI Mic 3, allowing up to 10 hours compared to up to 7 hours hours on the Rode system, so not hugely different. However, in terms of charging, the DJI Mic 3 features fast charging, allowing you to reach 80% charge in only 18 minutes, whereas the Rode takes a much longer 2.5 hours to fully charge. So if you are in a hurry and need to top up your devices quickly, the DJI Mic 3 definitely comes out on top. Now, it's also worth remembering that when you pop the transmitters or receivers back into the charging case actually tops those devices up, allowing the case to charge them just over around 2 times. So this provides up to 28 hours total runtime on the Mic 3 receiver compared to 18 hours on the Rode system. Although it has to be said, another advantage of the Mic 3 system is the fact that the receiver actually has auto on off. And what this means is when you turn your camera on, the receiver will automatically turn on. And when you turn your camera off, the receiver will also turn off to match. And again, this just helps you save battery life. Now, in terms of max transmission range, the new DJI Mic 3 is claiming a massive range of up to 400 meters. And this dwarfs the Rode Wireless Pro System's claims of up to 260 meters. But how does that work in real life? Are those figures close to reality? Well, let's do a little max transmission test. So this is the Rode Wireless Pro System at 50 meters. I'm now going to turn the camera. Is the audio cutting out, or can you still hear me? So this is the DJI Mic 3 system at around 50 meters. I'm now going to turn my back to the camera. Can you still hear me, or is it cutting out? So this is the Rode Wireless Pro System at around 80 meters. I'm now going to turn. Still hear me, or is it cutting out? At around 80 meters, I'm going to turn my back, or is it cutting out? So this is the Rode Wireless Pro System at 100 meters. Is it cutting out? Now, both these transmitters also feature internal 32-bit float audio recording, and you can start this using the buttons on the transmitters themselves, and there is a red indicator light to let you know when they are recording. But what's the benefit of a 32-bit float internal audio recording? Well, if you accidentally set the gain too high in your camera, or you start talking really loudly, this normally means the audio will get clipped. But that 32-bit float internal audio recording has much more information, meaning you can bring those levels down and recover that audio file without distortion. Although it has to be said, the DJI Mic 3 system has a new feature called dual internal audio recording. That means not only can you store the raw 32-bit internal audio recording, but if you're using noise cancelling, and we're going to get onto that in a second, you can store that second file with that processing applied. And there is also a new lossless setting, which when turned on provides uncompressed 48 kilohertz 24-bit audio transmission for super high quality audio. Now, another benefit of the Mic 3 system is that it comes with built-in noise reduction, and you actually have 2 settings to choose from. So to put that to the test, I've come to somewhere a little bit noisier. So right now you're hearing the audio from the Mic 3 with no noise reduction enabled. And now I've switched on the basic noise reduction setting. So this is the lower of the 2. Now, in reality, this is really aimed at when you're recording indoors to remove the sound of things like air conditioning units or fans. But these waves in the background should let you hear how much of that ambient sound it does cut out. Now, the benefit of using this lower setting is it does cause less distortion to the sound of your voice. And now I have switched over to the second of the noise reduction settings called Strong. Now, this one is aimed at outdoor use, and it is going to cut down on a lot more of that background ambient noise. The only downside to using this stronger noise reduction setting, as you might be able to hear, is it will cause more distortion to the sound of your voice. It's also worth noting that both the Rode system and now the DJI Mic 3 have their own timecode system. So if you're using multiple cameras and systems, this makes it super easy to sync up all the audio perfectly. So there you have it, everything you need to know about the new DJI Mic 3 system and how it stacks up compared to the Rode Wireless Pro. But I'm keen to know, which system do you prefer? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, before you go, if you liked this video and you learned something new, please let me know by giving me the thumbs up and clicking that like button down below. And if you love all things drones, gimbals, action cameras and more, and want to know about the best settings to get up and running quickly, along with tips and tricks that will allow you to get higher quality and more cinematic videos and better looking images with your gear, then please consider clicking that subscribe button down below, and when you're down there be sure to check the notification bell so that you will be alerted when my new videos are released. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to stick around and watch a few more now, here's a few I personally recommend. I won't keep you back any further. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over there.